everyone, welcome back to Wheel of Crisis. 'Tis I, Captain Logan. There is TheDayGhost. Austin, are you ready for another blind commentary, having no idea what you're going to have to sit through?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Austin, today it's time for another gimmick.
Oh no.
Aren't you
You
excited?
didn't even warn me about it.
I didn't warn you at all. I told you nothing. You had no idea. Austin...
Well, you even told me you're like, this time we'll do a regular show.
I didn't say that. Did I say regular show?
Sir.
Okay, well, I changed my mind. Deal with it. Austin, today is CW and WB Day.
Is Riverdale on that list?
We got a wheel of 10 shows. Riverdale is indeed on the list. I thought this gave you a chance at getting your Riverdale as badly as you're wanting that.
Well, I'm happy, so we're good.
Watch us not even get it. All right, man. Are you ready? We're gonna spin this wheel. It's all so Arrowverse and CW and WB shows. And by WB shows, I really just mean Smallville, which became CW because it switches to the CW in the middle of that run, and Birds of Prey would be the other one. Here we go. 10 shows. And today, we're watching Smallville.
Oh, wow. I thought it was Batwoman.
I thought it was going to be Batwoman, too. Yeah.
What's funny, because earlier Dan said to me, like, I hope you guys get Batwoman.
No, we wound up with Smallville. And I believe you told me you have somehow never seen this show at all.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I was actually hoping that would come up, but that's not the reason I did that. I was really thinking he asked for Riverdale every time I'm going to make it easier for him, and then we ended up with the show I was hoping for.
Riverdale. One day you will not slip past our grip.
We should have expected that the fates would be on the side of Smallville, though, because as you said earlier when we talked about this, we always wind up with Superman stuff on this show.
Yeah, we've had way more Superman things than anything else. It's really weird.
The deck is really stacked at Superman, but this is good because I have not had a chance with everything else I've been doing this year. I got a bug on my monitor. It's like a bug on your face on this monitor.
Oh no!
It is the 20th anniversary of Smallville, and I have not had a chance to do anything on this show yet. So this will be the first of those videos, I guess.
So what you're saying is the wheel was rigged this week.
No, it really... I mean, in the sense that it had a 1 in 10 chance, sure, but I did not rig it on purpose for Smallville. I really didn't. He doesn't believe me, but he doesn't believe anything I say. It's fine. Okay, so we have 10 seasons, and most of them are 22 episodes. I think when you get to, like 8, it's just 20, and then I'm not sure about 9 and 10.
I hope we get the one with Darkseid.
Well, I don't. I'm leaving if that happens.
Or the one with, like, the invisible kryptonite suit.
I don't want to watch anything from 9 and 10. That would be really unfortunate.
Yeah, that's all I want to see.
So here is the dice roller. We're going to roll a 10-sided dice. Because that show had 10 first time we've had to do that. And season 2, which is one of the better seasons. So that's good. We keep winding up with early season stuff. You notice that? It's always 1 or 2.
Is there a clip show in season 2?
There is not. Thank God. Because we keep winding up with those too. Or I guess that's happened to us once.
But it was a Superman thing.
Yeah, it's true. For a second, I was thinking it happened more than... No, it was just the one. Just making sure that I'm right about the number. No, it's 23.
Oh, dang. Is there no way to jump the dice up to 23 sides?
No, I mean, we can just roll 20 and 4 and then subtract 1. We've done that before.
Yeah, I could do that.
20. So 19.
We should have just rolled the d20.
I guess we should have. I mean, we can't just watch 20. Let's find out what the episode is. And it's funny because this will be a thing I've done a commentary on before.
Oh yeah, we can't even continue the Super Freaks.
The Cat and Crypto Freaks, yeah. The Super Freaks. Well, these are both not great. So that's man. I want to roll it again. I don't love either of these episodes.
What happened to the season is good.
1 and 2 both have this thing where they have a couple of duds right at the end of the season before they start getting more archy again, like just kind of one-off.
Oh, okay.
We ran out of steam, and then we know where we're going into season 3, so now it gets, kind of more exciting and interesting again. But right before that, we had to throw, because for some reason we have to have 23 episodes. That's important.
Yeah, so it's the CW thing.
Oh, I just want to roll the dice again. or just show you Rosetta so you can see.
Does it have to do with a stone?
No, it has to do with a thing that's like the Rosetta Stone, but isn't actually a stone. But yeah, that's the Christopher Reeve episode.
I didn't even know he was in
the
this.
first Christopher Reeve episode. Yeah, he's great.
Oh, that's awesome.
I just want to show you that because you've never seen this show before.
Which is why we have to start with a bad episode.
Okay, let me grab my disc. Hold on. God, I really want to pull rank here.
Oh, there's Christopher Reeve.
This is the moment of truth, man. Because if we watch that one, you'll have a better time, and you'll actually have a better first impression of this show. I mean, it'll all go downhill from there, because that will be showing you one of the, 3 best episodes of the entire series. But also more people will likely watch it. And it's right there.
He's right there. Sir not appearing in this commentary.
Is anybody but gonna begrudge us if we change the rules?
Probably not. I don't think anybody
cares. Does anyone care? Do you care?
I don't really care about anything, so that's good.
Okay. We're not usually going to do this, but this is going to be a lot more fun for everybody. I especially want to do this because it's the anniversary, and I've done a commentary on this before, but I think it will be more fun for Austin to be introduced to this show through this, especially because it's not been too long since you watched the Christopher Reeve movies for the first time. Austin didn't grow up with those films.
No, it was only just a few months ago that I watched both of those. I still got to go back to watch the Donner cut of 2. Okay. But I watched both of those.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what you think of that.
Well, you and I watched one together.
We did, which was a lot of fun. It was really cool getting to see somebody experience that for the first time. That was a lot of fun. So I want to do that with this. I'm gonna break ranks here and do that with this. If we were in season 6 or something,
super special.
If we were in season 6 or something, I wouldn't be doing this. But the disc is in and it's right there, and it was 2 away from what we rolled. So we're going to do this. I'm trying to decide if I should set any of this up for you or just have you watch it. Because there is, we're in the more mythology archy stuff. I guess all you should probably know at this point is that this is where Clark will find out that he's a Kryptonian. He doesn't know about any of that yet at this point. He knows about the spaceship and that kryptonite can hurt him. And that's about what he knows. And that there's a Kryptonian key that opens the ship. So he's seen some of the technology, and at this point, do we have the cave already? I guess we would have already had the cave by now too. Everybody, please press play. Make sure you're at timestamp 0, of course. And we're not watching with commercials. We're watching on the disc, so you won't have to worry about that, depending on how you're watching it.
Yeah, it's not going to be the Hulk one all over again.
So that's good. Although, it's always fun to see Austin respond to commercials you can't see.
That's everybody's favorite commentary. That should just be a show.
Here we go, guys. Everybody, please press play right now. If I can help myself, I almost want to do, less talking about this episode and more just like letting you react to it.
I feel like I'm flying already.
Yeah. Despite the no flights, no tights in the show, we like to tease Clark flying as much as humanly possible. And in this particular case, he actually is. He's sleep flying.
Whoa. I feel like I'm at the beginning of like a Harry Potter like DVD menu or something.
I thought you
You
were
know
gonna
when they
say.
do like the
I thought you were gonna say like really bad virtual reality.
Oh no, I guess that too. I just mean, you know where they do like 30 seconds of like something, like now we're at the menu.
Yeah. Yes. They should have made that the menu. So yeah, they cheat a lot with the flying thing. When they said no flights, no tights, they really just meant apparently not on purpose. And so he's been able to fly since the second episode, but he'll never actually do it intentionally until he's got like a brainwashing thing that happens later in the next season, and and then later on it'll be because he has a fear of flying.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Because that's one of those just cutesy things.
And the show it does that kind of thing a lot. It is very guilty of that. So that is the Kryptonian key I was telling you about, and I have the Kryptonite version of it here, which is what we do with it in season 3, because he ends up losing that key, and then Lionel Luthor is trying to get into the cave wall, so he makes an exact replica of it, but out of Kryptonite.
Look, he's Jesus.
And who should come upon him in the middle of the night but, of course, Lex Luthor once again, who is always either hitting Clark with cars or almost hitting Clark with cars. What are the odds of this? There's nobody else on the road. But we like to have our cake and eat it too with Smallville, where we pretend like it's a smaller town than it is. So when we need it to be a bigger town, we treat it that way. But the excuse for things like that is, well, it's a small town.
There's the guy from Guardians 2.
No, the guy from Guardians 2 is the guy from Smallville.
Oh, that's my favorite actress.
Wait,
Clark gets crucified in the show?
In the pilot.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
He is Jesus.
Yeah. No, that imagery is there from the very beginning. Which is part of the thing that makes it more pretentious to
God,
be
the
in Man of
early
Steel.
TV CGI.
Yes, it's great. I couldn't believe they used that shot of Lana jumping in front of an explosion, because I thought that looked terrible at the time. And I was like, how are we using that proudly in the intro like it's good? Definitively still the best Kents. We'll never beat them.
Even the
I like them in Lois and Clark. I do.
Lois and Clark. That's the one I was thinking of.
This was a step up. John Schneider is, in my mind, as much of the definitive Jonathan Kent as Rosenbaum is the definitive Lex Luthor. So that looks like it's just a dream, but then it turns out that it actually happened.
Well, those are my favorite kinds of dreams.
Or I should say it's like or like it actually happened. He was, I'm pretty sure, actually flying. He doesn't actually put the key in the wall yet, because he's going to do that later. So I'm not sure if he was in the cave at the beginning, but I think he was.
Oh, so that was like a whole mix of stuff. Yeah. It was like some time travel dream stuff.
No, not time travel. But I think it was just the key, like, calling to him
Or
and
like
telling him to do a thing.
foreshadowing? Okay. Yeah.
So I always called this guy Walden Books. So yeah, he's this archaeologist guy that's been studying the caves and the language. And later on, he's going to get killed, and if memory serves, it's his hand that is holding the key and gets it, like, imprinted in his hand when he gets charred alive. And then Lionel Luthor gets the hand, and then that's how he makes this.
Oh my god.
It's amazing.
Like Raiders of the Lost Ark. With the, yeah.
There's a lot of that in 2 and 3, yeah. Yeah, I never thought about it like that, but there is that kind of treasure hunter component, except it's all in the town where we are.
Yeah, so it's like instead of a map of the world, it's just a map of Smallville with a red line going through the streets.
Stop skateboarding in the halls. It's not the 90s anymore. So yeah, there's a lot more of a kind of foreboding tone to this episode than you usually get. Like, when you go back and watch a standard episode, it's not going to feel like this exactly.
Is that because they're like in a room with the Mac?
I hate going back to the show now because it's impossible to watch it without that coming up.
Oh yeah, there's no way I wasn't gonna mention it.
Should we make it a drinking game? Because this has been the second time already.
I don't know. Do you think he'll survive? By the end of the episode, I'm just gonna be singing "Return of the Mac" every time she's on screen.
So that will become a very familiar sound.
Oh God.
It calls to him here. It will do that again toward the end of the season. And I think I told you about this, but that sound will be responsible in a way for Martha Kent's miscarriage.
Oh, you did tell me that. That's so weird.
Yeah, because he decides that he has to put the kryptonite key. It's weird this keeps coming up, because I have it on my desk. In the ship to blow it up. And that will turn out to be a massive mistake. I also have a replica of the cave wall that has the imprint in it, which is cool,
Oh, yeah.
but I don't have the regular key. I've always wanted to get my hands on one, and I don't have that. Eric bought me this when I took him to Metropolis, which was really cool of him.
He should have burned the key into your hand.
so we could go backwards and make a replica of the regular one?
Yeah. Yeah, like, why would you pay for, like, the souvenir at the store? Just make your own.
I
Just
love the
burn
kryptonite
profit
language.
in your hand.
The written kryptonite language so much, and folks have fought me on what I should look this up, because I thought I was right about this, that the language was invented for this show and then we made it the definitive one in the comics. I think I'm right about that.
Well, I don't know, so I'll assume you're right.
But at any rate, I like it a lot. I kind of didn't love that we changed it in Man of Steel. Their language was kind of interesting looking too. But I'm finally going to get a tattoo soon, and it's going to be of Kryptonian symbols.
Oh my God, the rainbow bridge is going through him.
Look at the outline around his body.
It's wonderful. He looks like he's in a 90s music video.
So weird things happen to Clark's chest in that cave, man. Or because of that cave, I should say. Because there's going to be a thing in the third season where Jor-El is going to brand him with the Superman symbol on his chest, like this huge brand.
Oh, great. Thanks, Jor-El. Now we can't go to the beach.
Yeah, exactly. Which I guess they try to treat as retroactive foreshadowing with the pilot, where it's like he gets an S drawn on him and he gets strung up in a field. And then that happens to him 3 years later.
Oh, 3 years, eh?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
Yeah. Or is it 2? No, it's 2. It's at the end of this season that happens.
Oh, never mind.
Pardon me. It's the beginning of 3. But yeah, it's 2. I'm a little rusty. I sometimes conflate a couple of events that happen in 2 and 3.
How dare you?
Yeah, I know. I'm a terrible Smallville fan. I am a terrible Smallville fan because I both love and hate the show.
Yeah, that does make you a bad fan.
I'm a bad fan of the show. Absolutely. I condemn it and admonish it simultaneously. It's all I do with the show.
I was getting some vibes there with her on the computer of like Iron Man, where Pepper was trying to like rush to do her like stuff on the computer while Stain walks in, but like the reverse, where the evil one is messing up like with things on the computer.
And then she's like, "Do you have the newspaper? I want to do the puzzle."
Yeah, exactly.
So this is gonna be the one kind of angsty, whiny subplot in this episode that is gonna be, only really relevant if you're following the show. I mean, like all of this is more archy and about the ongoing story, but this is the more high school drama part of it, and I think the rest of it is pretty watchable if you haven't seen any of this show, to introduce you to the mythology, because it's introducing the regular audience to the mythology too. We don't know anything about Krypton yet. A lot of these big headshots in this show.
I see. I just thought of my next Mac joke.
And now she's going to walk away angry, which is a thing that we always count in Counting Crypto Freaks. Or is there going to be a walk away angry? I think it's more Lana walking away dejected, which is not a thing that we count. Nope, I would count that. I would count that. She did walk away angry. She just walked back into the room they were in, but it still counts.
Yeah, she just turned back before walking away.
I've always liked the way Welling plays these kinds of scenes where you've got or I guess the way they both do, where you can tell, like, it's supposed to be a lot heavier for Jonathan, but they're both picking up things that would, for the actors, weigh the same.
Yeah.
It's a nice detail. They're always careful about that kind of thing.
Ma-Ken is pregnant now.
Yes. The ship made it possible for her to be pregnant, and it will be the ship that will give her a miscarriage. Because the ship can heal people.
Easy come, easy go, I guess.
And there's a crypto freak that has the same power that the ship does.
I'm surprised they didn't just make the ship a person and then like Clark dates them for a bit.
This is also my favorite Heat Vision. I've always thought this is like the most realistic and coolest looking way to do Heat Vision, where it's not just beams.
What's he doing with his eyes though? It's all like.
Well, you'll see here in a minute. So they're gonna make a big reveal out of this, and I've always really appreciated this shot. This is all related to what happened to him in the cave. And this will be the thing that will lead Christopher Reeve to him. Who is Virgil Swan. She just happens to drive up at this moment. Okay,
I
of
thought
course.
that was going to be Christopher Reeve.
No, that's going to be later.
Like, no, this literally draws him.
No, but what happens here has having to do with why we meet him.
Draws like a symbol or something on there.
I always thought that could have been the box art.
Yeah, it could have been. Oh my god. A circle, two like rhombuses, and a square.
Well, we'll learn later what that means. I've talked about this ad nauseum with CryptoFreaks, but I'll mention it to you because I'm sure you haven't heard me say this. A little later, I think it's Chloe who's going to say it was... So yeah, it's the symbol for hope.
Oh god, so it's even here too.
Yes, but in this it's not... The S is not the symbol for hope. It's a combination of symbols. Because the actual... Superman S is just the crest of the House of L, like it usually is and stuff. Something else you should watch for is we like, partly because we have Christopher Reeve here, we have a lot of reverence for those movies, of course, and so we're actually going to get some of the John Williams score in this episode.
Oh, cool. So this is before his accident, then?
No, this is well after the accident.
Well, that's what I was thinking, but then I was like...
You'll have to see how they pull it off.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Well, yeah, because I assumed it was way after, and then the more we talked about it, it was like...
No, that was early 90s. This would be
It sounds like it's going to do something. I thought it was the 90s, yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, he dies just 2 years after this. He's in one more episode, and then shortly after that, he passed away. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
He's in an episode the very next season, but he's only in 2 scenes. Well, I guess he's only in a couple scenes here too, but he gets a lot more dialogue, so it feels like he's in it more.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. He should have had like really good career.
Yep. But he was already massively typecast before that. He was in a couple of good movies after Superman, but he didn't get to do a lot even before his accident.
Yeah, I watched Village of the Damned recently, which is a John Carpenter film where he's the lead, and that was pretty good.
I didn't know about that. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. I think that must be one of his last films before the accident then, because I think that's like early 90s.
Well, this is just the 95th clue about my secret, Lana, so I better throw this in a trash can and walk away.
It should have hit the trash can and dented it.
If I'm Clark, I'm not writing those symbols down anywhere.
No, definitely
Especially knowing that, like, I think at this point he knows that Walden is looking into the cave mythology and all of that. Like, I certainly wouldn't leave it around.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get that he's a dumb high school kid, but, you've not watched the show, but he has been through enough stuff that he should be more careful about this. For folks that know what I'm talking about, particularly with Officer Sam Phelan in the first season. Like, as soon as you've had a police officer that tries to, like, hold leverage over you to control your superpowers, you're not doing stuff like that.
Well, if they find out, he'll just heat vision through their skulls. because he's Superman.
Oh, right, because that's what Superman does. This, I should also mention that he didn't have his heat vision until just recently. So he gets, or I say just earlier in the season, he gets his heat vision.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's like a slow build on all of his powers.
Which they treat as a metaphor for puberty.
Yeah, of course. That makes sense.
But particularly with the heat vision, they make it like an ejaculation metaphor.
Oh, weird.
So, like, he does heat vision when he gets aroused, which is a problem when you're sitting in a classroom full of other children or high school kids. Oh, you just said the title.
What, Smallville?
No, the Rosetta Stone.
I was gonna say they have to say that quite a bit.
He thinks that piece of paper is the Rosetta Stone because they now know, presumably, what some of those symbols mean. But in that scene, Walden is saying, well, we don't know. We don't actually know for sure if that's what any of this means. But Lex knows that Clark is connected to this stuff in some way, so he's trusting it. So I'm in this. So I started to say earlier, Chloe says it's a KU frat prank, and that is the thing on the wall with the symbol for hope. And that has always been my evidence for where Smallville is in real life. Because I went to KU, and I grew up in Lawrence, where the University of Kansas is. And if it's supposed to be... If she thinks... If they're close enough to KU that she thinks that KU students went onto the Kent farm and did that, it means they can't be more than a few minutes away, which puts it in a somewhere around like Tonganoxie or something. We have a couple of towns that are as small as Smallville pretends to be, right outside of Lawrence. And so I've always thought that Smallville in this universe is Tonganoxie. I think one of the reasons I was so into this show when I was in high school was because it took place where I lived, even though they didn't get it right at all.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool. See, for me, it's like just places around me show up in movies, and they're like, hey, it's New York.
Well, I was going to say, hilariously and somewhat ironically, this is supposed to be Kansas, but seems nothing like Kansas, and the people in the show don't sound like they're from Kansas, but they're actually from much closer to where you are. So you should also be more at home, because they're shooting this in Vancouver.
Ah, that's way far out from me.
Yeah, but at least it's in the same country you're in.
Yeah, but Canada's the second biggest country.
That's fair. That's fair. But they sound more like people that you would associate with on a regular basis than people that I would associate with.
I don't associate with those Vancouverians.
Yeah, but their accents sound more like your accent.
Oh, so like cool.
Sure. So Virgil Swan is Christopher Reeve. That's who's contacting him. And this is the place where Walden Books goes crazy.
Yeah, this is giving me some Indiana Jones vibes right now.
Don't do it.
I would also be crazy if I were stuck in like a DVD menu, though.
He's gonna get the bad ending. Wait a minute, you're not Kryptonian.
Oh my god, it's like the Static Shock symbol.
Oh, later on when we get the symbol for the House of Zod, it's just a Z.
See, this is inaccurate because, like, with Kryptonian things, if people walk in, they're supposed to be like, "Okay, I serve you now." Maybe it was because it wasn't Lex, though. It was just this guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
If it were Lex,
With,
it would have been like, "Let me tell you about the universe, Lex."
well, and it's funny you mentioned that, because what we do with Lex and Zod in this is Zod possesses Lex. And so Rosenbaum gets to be Zod for 2 episodes. And then when we get to
so
season 9, I think, we reinvent Jor-El and Zod both from the ground up, and we have a physical Zod who's a completely different character. Why do you care so much about a Native American language? I do like the way Welling plays the scene, because he's usually really, really bad at lying. But I actually buy it more there, where he's like pretending like he thinks that Lex is a crazy person. I wish he was more like that more often. I always thought that kid that walks in with the package plays it like he's somebody. Like he's a celebrity cameo, but I have no idea who that guy is. And he probably isn't anybody.
Well, that's what you do when you're a smaller actor. You just pretend that you're this huge cameo so that people remember you.
I always loved that Virgil Swan's initials spelled versus.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a great picture.
It's really cool.
He kind of looks a little like Henry Cavill in that picture.
Yeah. There are a few Time magazine, like fake Time magazine photos in the show. And apparently on TV, if you want to do a Time magazine picture, you have to actually like send it in to Time magazine and have it approved before they'll let you use it in your show. So like it has to meet like certain standards. But it's cool, because then it's more believable when it's in the show, you know? Or you're like, okay, that looks like a Time magazine cover. Like, they want to make sure that it's one that they would publish.
See, I would want like a really ridiculous one if I were making a show, though. And then they would say no, and then I'd just be mad.
But that's what tabloids are for. We have those in this show, too.
Yeah, but that'd be the joke. It'd be like, it's Time, but it's like terrible.
Because in this show, we have the Inquisitor.
Sounds about right.
It is pretty silly that this early in the show, like, everybody is really on to, like, Clark is acting weird about all this, like, strange stuff that's happening, and seems very connected to all of it. And it's going to be forever before any of them figures any of it out.
So it's very like superhero, like all that type of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it makes them all seem really dumb, because the show also wants to seem kind of realistic. Which I'm sure sounds ridiculous to you after all the convoluted things I've told you about with the show.
Yeah, the show sounds insane. It's like every episode, what's like a soap opera where it's like a character will walk in and they'll be like, "I thought you were dead," and they'll be like, "I was, but now I'm reinvented." It's like, whoa.
Kinda, yeah. And it's also a show that, with all of those like crazy, insane, impossible, or implausible things, we also treat stuff like these two live together now as a giant plot point. Because when they
That's
did
late.
that, they treated it like a reveal, and it was really funny.
Is it at least somebody like cool, or is it just like
What do you mean?
dumb? Like, oh my God, Lex and Darkseid live together.
No, I'm saying just Lana and Chloe.
Oh,
Like,
these two.
yeah.
Sorry, I thought you meant like when you said these two. I didn't think you meant like these two specifically on screen. I just meant like,
No,
oh,
like, see how
two people
they're
on the
like living
show.
in an apartment together? Like when they did that, they treated it like a big plot point. Like they're living together now. Okay.
Oh, that's weird. It should be like the '90s Spider-Man show where Vulture and Scorpion live in a crack house together. That was weird. I don't know what that was about.
So they do all these cutesy reversals in the show, but this is one that I actually do like a lot, where like his parents are trying to keep him from going to Christopher Reeve right now because they're afraid that Christopher Reeve is going to exploit him. That's pretty great.
You can never trust that Reeve guy. See, Clark will like think he's got candy or something, and then Christopher Reeve will throw his S at him and trap him.
That's the thing you could do in a well, but he's so paralyzed he couldn't do that either.
Oh, well, it'll be a CGI arm.
Oh, okay, okay. Because that wouldn't be in 4 days.
Well, it'll just be his head on like a CGI body, and it'll like fly around and stuff. I'm sure we'd do that now. He'll be in the Flash movie.
Oh God. I'm as many issues I have with this show. It's luckily at least here more tasteful than that. They didn't put Christopher Reeve on like his head on spindly legs like Mr. Freeze in Batman the Animated Series. I'm really glad
Okay,
that
but
didn't
now
happen.
I want that.
So here's his observatory, and Tom Welling had to actually go to New York to shoot this because they weren't gonna fly Christopher Reeve to their sets. You may not hear much from us, folks, for the next few minutes.
Yeah, now I'm just sad.
So I've always loved this. The language goes left to right and right to left. Like, that's how you read it?
How confusing.
Unless you've been downloaded with a language through your chest.
That happens all the time. That's how we learn French here.
Oh, but you don't mean an octagonal key. This was such a big deal when it was on.
Oh, I bet, yeah. It's cool that Christopher Reeves gets to tell him that he's from Krypton and that he's
It's
Kal-El.
super classy. And yeah, he's gonna tell him just enough that it's satisfying. And then it takes a weird turn at the end that the show never knows what to do with, and it's awful. Which at the time I was really open-minded about, but you'll see when we get there. They also treat Swan kind of like a benevolent Lex, because he has that same innate curiosity, but his heart's in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also got a little bit of that manipulation, too. There it is. There it is. And we all just lost our minds.
They should have had him yell, "Destroy Superman."
And I don't know if you're picking up on it, but it's not just the theme right before commercial. Even before that, you're getting a lot of the John Williams Kryptonian stuff in the score. Like we were already doing it if you're listening for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's super cool.
And it's so weird that this show played that as well as it did and with so much finesse, because it's often really bad at that kind of thing.
I guess once you have Christopher Reeve, everything kind of
You're playing
connects.
it with kid gloves, and yeah. But like, they're not just arbitrarily putting it whatever, wherever. Like the theatrical cut of Justice League, where that theme shows up for no reason in the middle of a scary Superman fight.
Well, yeah, it's because he's being Superman.
But here you're getting, sure. Here you're getting that Krypton planet music while he's explaining to Clark what his origins are. Like, it's really appropriate. So yeah, he's got his name and that Krypton was destroyed. Yeah, Clark, write your own destiny and stop just like trying to figure out what the universe wants you to do all the time. You unproactive sap!
Christopher Reeve is more proactive, and he can't even move.
We're already at the last scene, by the way.
Oh, whoa.
This is the end of this episode.
I guess that makes sense. Like, yeah, you got like the big reveal and stuff near the end. Yes, so Christopher Reeve really is only in like one scene this episode.
Yeah, it's one scene broken into two because of a commercial break.
Mm-hmm.
But I love how he's used to facilitate the story, and we're not overusing him, and...
Well, and he's like contacting Clark throughout the episode, so it makes his role feel bigger.
Yeah, it feels like his presence is there the whole time, or at least through a lot of it. You're right.
Yeah,
and
he's
you're
like
anticipating
Sauron
it the whole time.
Right.
So when he shows up, it's really satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good shot of the ship. It is shaped like the Superman symbol crest. Like, that's the shape of the ship, which I always thought was really cool. It doesn't look like that in the pilot. And the ship's heart that he's holding also does not look like that in the pilot. They are totally different props. And then they made them look nicer later.
It's like a morpher.
Superman finds out that he's a power, or Clark finds out that he was a Power Ranger, that Zordon sent him off in a rocket.
Yeah, Jor-El is a giant blue guy in the sky that like breathes fire.
Sure. I guess you better memorize where exactly that is on the ship, or you'll never find it.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah, like, can that just never come off again?
So this is the big crazy twist that we're about to get. Love the way the scene is lit. I guess you can even do it in circles and still read it the same way.
What is it? It's a message from my biological father. I'm sure I'm reading it wrong. What does it say? In this third planet from this soul, you will be a god among men. They are flawed race rooted in the strength of the sun. That is where your greatness lies. I think I was sent here to conquer.
So that's the big twist.
What kind of planet am I from?
Isn't it? And this is a period where like we're already in a place where it seems like we got to darken up everything, right? And the show starts from more of a horror looking place in the first place. So when we finally get a message directly from Jor-El, it sounds like he's like evil, scary Jor-El, and he wants Clark to just come here and take over the planet. I am your father.
You see, what should have happened was like Clark turns away and Jonathan Kent's like, well, maybe you misread it, and then Clark turns around and heat visions him, and then he flies away.
I'm glad that didn't happen, because I like John Schneider in the show a lot. This is maybe my favorite performance from him in the whole show, which is saying a lot. But watch what he does with his face in the scene. It's kind of nuts just how much is happening. It's good stuff, and I was really curious to see where they would go with that, and then they did not know what to do with evil with Go Conquer Them, Jor-El, which is why they reinvent him later.
Us why war is bad.
No, they're telling you to give money to paralysis research. So you finally see the Smallville.
I have seen a Smallville. And I saw Reeve.
Yeah. I'm glad we did that instead of the other thing we almost did.
Well, episode like 19.
Yeah.
Precipice.
It's like I said, the stuff before that. Yeah, and everything in Smallville has a one-word title.
Oh, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you could keep that up for 10 seasons.
They did. I mean, there's a lot of words in the language, but yeah. And sometimes they'll do words that hardly go with the episode. I complained about this.
You get to that point.
Well, no, I mean early on. Like
Oh, never mind.
I complained about this when I was, doing the written Countering Crypto Freaks when I did the overview for season 1. And I actually had a category in that episode that I wasn't sure if I could keep up, but I had a category that was like episode title, like bad episode titles, because they had one where there are a couple of Crypto Freaks that have like persuasion powers, and they can persuade you to do things through a handshake, but the episode was called a hug. I don't know why, because they didn't hug you to make that happen. It should have been called a handshake.
That's so weird. And then later on, there's an episode where like Clark can't hug people, and it's called Handshake.
Yeah, it is a baffling counterintuitive show, and I just love telling you anything about it because every time I tell you anything about it at all, you're like, "What is this show?"
Because everything is insane.
Well, and you just adjust to it. Like, it doesn't seem as insane to me because I lived with it for 10 years.
It's like, oh, Zod, he possessed Lex, and then later on, Zod comes back, but it's not the same Zod. It's a different Zod.
And Darkseid possessed Mirror Lionel Luthor. So that he and Clark could have a big fight in the last episode. Because they had like $5.50 for CGI, so it wasn't going to be Darkseid.
So he has the same amount of screen time as he does in the Snyder Cut, then.
Probably less.
I'm just joking. But
No,
yeah.
definitely less. Yeah. And so does Doomsday. Doomsday is a season-long character, and he has less screen time than Darkseid does.
Isn't he part of a love triangle,
He's
too?
part of a love triangle, yeah.
Isn't Batista a villain in this show, too?
Oh, I think he is. Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
I remember as a kid, because I used to watch wrestling, and it was back when he was still a wrestler, and I remember them doing previews for that.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, because obviously when it aired, I didn't know who he was, it's their obligatory Underground Fight Club episode, where because every show's got one, and it's funny because that's where Dwayne Johnson got his start too, was the Voyagers obligatory Underground Fight Club episode, and with which is weird, how far his career has come from that. But Batista, if I'm remembering it right, it might have been a different episode.
Plays Aldar.
Yeah, that doesn't
Yeah,
ring any bells. But what was the name of the episode? Because that would because I would remember that probably.
Let's see.
Well, if you don't have it right away.
6.
Yep, I'm pretty sure that's that episode. And they do a kryptonite cage match. That's the only way you've got a chance at beating Clark, They have to have kryptonite everywhere.
Yeah, that is. Oh, the episode's called Static. It looks like.
Oh, maybe that's not it. Yeah, I'd have to go look and see. Oh, he might have been one of the zoners.
Should be
sure.
Static Shock.
Yeah, they didn't do Static Shock in that show.
Oh, they should have. Let's see. Static. Lex is targeted by a former Bell Reeve patient who can move through frequency and who wants him to come clean about 33.1.
Yeah, it's not that episode. It would. Boy, it's gonna be weird going back to that eventually and seeing Batista, because I didn't know who he was back then. But yeah, that's the Phantom Zone season where Clark accidentally lets out a bunch of inmates from the Phantom Zone, and they call them zoners.
See, and now when you watch Guardians 3, you can be like, it's Aldar. Why is he in this movie?
He and Rosenbaum can have a reunion.
Well, that's why James Gunn cast them. He's like, my favorite 2 parts of Smallville, Lex and Aldar.
Just a really big fan of that 33.1 arc. Okay. Well, anyway, thanks a lot for watching, folks. I'm glad we got to do this. Of course, I had a commentary on this on the channel before, but it was fun introducing the show to Austin. You have any thoughts, Austin, before we finish? Like, what'd you think of that?
It was pretty good. Seeing Christopher Reeve like that was pretty sad. That's pretty much all I got.
He's great,
it wasn't
though.
as crazy. Oh, he is great, definitely. It wasn't as crazy as I expected, but
a lot of the really insane things get saved for cliffhangers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, of course.
Especially season cliffhangers. Because every season has there's not one that doesn't have a cliffhanger in the show. And
Is season 1's cliffhanger like, oh no, Lana and Chloe live together?
no, season 1 is the whole thing with the tornado that I'm always complaining about.
Yeah, no, I remember that they're like under an underpass or something.
No, it's so much worse. That's the Man of Steel
Oh,
thing, is the overpass. In
oh,
in
of course.
in Smallville, it's Lana is in a truck, and there's there are 3 tornadoes coming
Yeah, it
toward
was in the intro.
her truck. Yeah, and she's clearly parked right next to a ditch, which, if there's tornadoes coming, that's where you're supposed to go, is in a ditch, because the tornado's not as likely to be able to pick you up. Like, I live in Kansas. We were told this 100,000 times in public school. If you're by a ditch, go in it. And she instead gets back in the truck. And then the 3 tornadoes form to make a giant super tornado and then suck her up into the tornado. And that's the big cliffhanger there. Meanwhile, Lex has a chance to let his father die, and he doesn't take it. That's the other big part of that cliffhanger.
You should have just thrown his dad into a ditch. So it like relates.
Well, spoiler alert, but he actually will murder him eventually. It just takes 7 seasons.
Oh God. Guess when you gotta pad it out.
Yeah, he throws him out a roof, or he throws him out a window.
I should have thrown him out of a window into a tornado. That would have been awesome.
Anyway, thanks again for watching, folks. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you again soon with another one, and we'll spin the wheel the regular way next time, probably, and see what ends up coming up. But in the meantime, I was Captain Logan, and this was The Day Ghost.
Time to go watch Mortal Kombat that came out today.
Later,
Not to
folks.
dig this commentary.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.